episode of our Frogs Today on Location specials from the Valero Alamo Bowl, live from the Arneson River Theater located on the River Rock in downtown. This one-of-a-kind pep rally has it all and more. I'm Savannah Rivlo with the TCU Showgirls, bringing you another episode of Frogs Today live from San Antonio. Thanks to our friends at Texit for making this possible.
Keeping score of your finances but missed the Bitcoin wagon? There's a second chance called Texit Coin. Score big at texitcoin.org.
A pep rally on the river, wow. Our Showgirls, cheer squad, band, Superfrog are all here, and of course our football, as well as the spirit groups from USC. Here are some sights and sounds from tonight's event.
Shout it out, everybody in the house. Stomp your feet, clap your hands, come on, kick it with the band. We love our country and we like it loud. Hey, hey!
We can't wait for Tuesday's game, but much more content to bring you leading up to the game, and we want to start by our conversation with 2016 Alamo Bowl MVP, TCU quarterback Bram Kohlhausen, former TCU football legend who know a thing or two about bowl games, especially ones with USC, State of the Frogs host, TCU football alum, and Rocks the Media House partner J.W. Wilson sat down with Kohlhausen earlier this week to talk about the 31-0 comeback win over Oregon and a story of waking up with no legs after falling 75 feet out of a helicopter after 2 months in a coma.
Welcome back to the Frogs Today Alamo Bowl special. We're joined by a TCU legend, Bram Kohlhausen. Bram, first off, thanks for being here. We're honored by your presence today.
Hey, I appreciate you having me.
You look great, by the way. It's good to see your face again. We saw the documentaries. Fantastic job. Really great story we're going to talk about here today a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Clint Foster did a great job on the documentary. It was his passion project, and it turned out extremely well.
Absolutely. So Houston, you're from Houston, Lamar High School. Tell us about high school a little bit real quick.
High school, we were probably the best team in Houston. We were running school, so I was a handoff quarterback back in the day. Started as a sophomore, and then worked my way up to college. Went to University of Houston. Ended up transferring to a junior college. Then found my home here at TCU.
How did TCU find you?
Really, I saw after Coach Meacham. He was my offensive coordinator at University of Houston. He wanted to start me there. Was told he couldn't. So when I was looking for a home, he opened the quarterback room for me and introduced me to Sonny Cumbie, and that was it.
We're glad he did. So all right, the year's 2015, the season of 2015, you come into the game. I think it's the OU game. I think Foster Sawyer was a start, and you came in. We were down considerably. You brought us back to near upset. Take us through that game a little bit, if you don't mind.
Well. Going into Oklahoma, we were 17-point dogs, and I entered the game at down 17 points. So, sorry Vegas, and I put the team in a position to win. Everybody was playing hard. Our defense, knocked out Baker Mayfield out of the game. So we had an opportunity there with Oklahoma not scoring a bunch of points in the second half and in the third quarter, and just going through that game, I just it was cold. I think I had 2 long sleeve Under Armours on. Didn't think I was going to play at all. Next thing you know, it was just all the calls that were made were fabulous by Coach Meacham and Coach Cumbie, and I just was happy to put the team in a position to win.
You proved that you almost can make a comeback happen. We'll find out later how that story winds up. But great job there. So the man you're sitting behind most of the year was a guy named Trayvon Boykin, who we all know how he did. What was it like being with Trayvon Boykin on the team?
He's a fabulous guy. You know, he was a great presence in the locker room. You know, knew when he was positive. You knew when he was, going through, being a Heisman contender, and the spotlight's on him. But just being in the room, watching him every day at practice, you'd take notes, mental notes, and just know that that's where you want to throw the ball, and if only you could put it right where Trayvon puts it, then you're going to be all right.
The season goes well for you guys. Obviously, you get picked to play in the Alamo Bowl against a good Oregon team. You guys get ready for bowl practice. Everything's going well. 2 nights before the bowl game, Trayvon gets suspended for an altercation. How does the team find out that this is happening, and how do you find out that you'd be named the starter for the Alamo Bowl?
I don't exactly remember how I found out, but I think early in the morning I woke up to text messages and calls, and that's really how I found out. I just knew that I was the number 2 guy, and I knew he was going to have to go home.
Sense of shock across the team because of that news?
Yeah, I mean, everybody was just worried. They wanted to know what happened, why he was out, like what he was doing, why did he get arrested. And that was just so out of his character, just to do something like that, especially letting down the entire Fort Worth community and the team and the coaches.
For sure.
So it was just a real sense of shock by everybody.
So you learn through text messages and all the stuff that you're the starter for the Alamo Bowl. What's going through your mind at that point?
I've said this a couple of times, but I had to text our graduate assistant and just ask him for a play sheet because I didn't know exactly where mine was, and I needed one of those just to go through the plays again. And when Trey came back to the room to get his stuff before he headed back to Fort Worth, we went over the script one time, every play one time.
With Trey?
Yeah, with Trey.
Very nice.
And I believe there was some people just like knocking on the door trying to say, hey, we got to go. And he was just telling them, no, we're on red zone. We're about to finish. I worked with him, went through the plays, and that was it. It
appears the team rallied around you, not knowing what they were going to get out of you from the get-go, but it started off poorly, right? You guys get down 31-0 by half, 31-3, I think, at halftime. But what was the first half like in your mind?
It was a blur, but we weren't playing well at all. Tons of penalties, some drop passes. Defense was getting scored on way too much, and I try to block that out.
A few of your teammates have told us that there might have been some guys going out during the week, maybe a couple days before the game, and that maybe they had too much fun. These are guys that you might know. Were you one of the guys going out having fun, or were you pretty focused on the game?
No, I was so focused on the game. Really, I was just there for a vacation. I thought I'd never play. I thought this was Trayvon's showcase. He's going to show everybody this is why he should have gotten invited to New York for the Heisman ceremony. This was his game to win, and we were like right on the Riverwalk. It was tough to, stick around.
First snap of the game, Bram. What's going through your mind? Are you nervous? Are you locked in? what does it feel like to do that in your world?
I was locked in. I think I was locked in, just ready to get going. But there's tons of nerves that I wasn't recognizing at the time. We had a ton of great plays go our way, and the next thing you know, we get called for holding or unsportsmanlike conduct, and that was just the part that really shot us in the foot there.
Halftime, you're down 31-3, I believe, right? 31-3?
31-0.
31-0 at halftime.
Yeah, come on.
What's happening in the locker room?
A lot of commotion on the defensive side. We had coaches throwing, trash cans and chairs, just getting on them. Who gives up 31 points and a half? The offense was pretty cool, calm and collected, Coach Meacham style. And we just went through every play that like this is why we stalled out. This is why, and it was never really my fault, but it was my fault on the very last drive when I threw that interception.
Coach P famously changed shirts at halftime. Were you even aware of this happening?
I didn't know that until after the game.
Fair.
until I saw the media cut-ups about him changing the shirts.
All right, the second half. Walk us through that in your mind.
We had guys like Aaron Green out there. We had
As Aaron Green walks by the set.
We had leadership like Aaron Green and a stud front five. I think like 5 of those guys ended up playing 8 years in the league. Just really well protected. And then we had a bunch of freshman receivers that I had thrown to my entire senior year, and I knew what they could do. I knew where to put the ball. What plays worked for them. So I was able to give them an opportunity to make a play, and they did. And they did great. It was the young guys, and maybe it was the just having some sort of, they were just naive to the situation, and they were just playing like it was high school ball again, and they're so talented that they were able to make plays.
Has Coach Patterson said anything to you during the course of events at the game?
No, he didn't talk to me. He talked to the defense at halftime and left me alone. I think he left the decision up to Meacham and Cumbie on if they were going to pull the string on me, which I totally expected to happen. They didn't do that and gave me an opportunity to make this comeback that everybody's remembering.
You make it to overtime, then another overtime. Then what are you thinking during overtimes?
The second overtime was the most nervous because I put Jaden in a bad position to make a game-tying field goal. It was like 46 yards, and he just drilled probably 5 before that. And you as a kicker, you're due for one miss occasionally, and I didn't think it was going to happen, but I knew there was a high chance that the probability was higher than a chip shot.
Very nice. All right, so the end of the game comes. You guys pull out the biggest comeback in bowl history. Obviously, jubilation across the board, across the frog world. How do you celebrate this kind of thing, or did you even
after the win?
After the win.
My brother is one of Tillman Fertitta's general counsels, and with all the restaurants in San Antonio, they didn't account for the Alamo Bowl extending 3 overtimes, and so there was nothing open, but he was able to hold Morton's open a little bit longer than they should have. So we had about 20-30 people at Morton's Steakhouse.
Is this family, or is this you and teammates?
Family, friends. I think the offensive line swang by like after they
love it,
and they all got a steak. All the Oregon fans, they didn't like me at the time, but they liked that Morton's was open.
Surely.
Hey, if after the game you're looking for some food, go to Morton's Steakhouse.
There you go. And we also, before we passed them, you won the MVP of the game, rightfully so. That had to feel pretty solid, huh?
Yeah, I was just amazed that we won. It was all a blur. Like you can remind me some details and stuff, and I'll remember it. But it was just
such a blur.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy game. A lot of adrenaline and emotions and hits, and But winning the MVP, it was just an honor. The rest of the team was just played great, and then they had to pick one, and so happened to be me. But in reality, I think the real MVP was Jaden Obercrom with all the field goals he kicked that game. Even
with him having a 12-inch hoagie during halftime in the hallway, not even part of the team discussions, we know this story. Yes.
Oh yeah, Jaden was out to lunch, but when it came down to making a field goal, he could split the uprights.
Well done. So after Morton's, the team's going crazy. You're just loving life. What happens next? You just fly home the next day, pretty much.
I jump in a car and head back to Houston.
Oh, you're going to Houston, right?
Yeah, head to Houston, and I think 24 hours after that, I was in Breckenridge, Colorado, with my buddies for like their senior trip or something.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Has your life changed inexplicably, or I guess explicably? But how did your life change after that thing settled down?
It didn't change too much. The only time it really changes is when I step back here in Fort Worth. It feels like home. I get recognized, and now I get really recognized that I'm the old quarterback with no feet. So it's just great to be back in Fort Worth. Great to be back at TCU, and I love purple.
Before we talk about that, so you are recognizable. There was a rumor that Disney or somebody was wanting to make a movie about your life. Is that rumor true, or was it true?
As far as I know, it was true, and there was a couple meetings with Del Conte and and a couple other the administrators. Nothing came of it. I've heard murmurs and stuff of people that are trying to get the story, figure out
Still
the
on the
rights.
table.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't know. I've never made a movie before, so I'll let the people with a little bit of experience kind of take
So
that.
what does your life do from that point until 2023? What are you doing with all your time?
I went to work. I was well. First, after I graduated that spring, I went to Europe for about six months and enjoyed that. Then from there, I went to worked in insurance, then real estate, and now I'm working in late stage private investments.
Very nice. Okay, so I think it's May 2023. You tell us how that you were in a helicopter accident, a severe one that put you the way you are now. Can you tell us how what took you up in a helicopter?
Well, we were out there, and there was a helicopter. The owner of the ranch has a helicopter, and we took rides in it all the time. And I had won a pigeon shoot, which was like a competitive deal with a lot of money on the line. And I was asked if I wanted to join and jump on the helicopter. So yeah, I'm gonna get on a helicopter. It's a fun time. We're at the ranch. It's at the time it was very safe. And the next thing you know, I woke up from a coma about a month and a half later, and didn't have any feet.
Are you in the front or the back of the helicopter?
I was sitting in the back.
Back. Are you strapped in? I'm guessing not well, but were you strapped in any way, shape, or form?
There were 2 videos and a picture of me strapped in, so we don't know exactly how
Really?
this
So
happened.
somehow you slipped out of the harnesses and fell. The story that we know, and please tell me if I'm wrong, but it's 75 feet. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right. That's everything from the papers say that. I mean, I don't remember.
You don't remember any of that?
Any of it.
That's the equivalent, I think, of a 4 or 5 story building. If I'm doing the simple math, but that's a hell of a long way. And the story that we've also been told, you may not even know this, but you landed on your feet somehow, remarkably landed on your feet, didn't stay up, but you landed on your feet. Is that accurate?
It's got to be accurate. I haven't gone through like the physics on how I would land, but thank God that I did land on my feet, and that's the only thing that I lost. I could have been my back or my neck, and I could have been dead or paralyzed, and things would be a lot worse. So
a month and a half in a coma, you said, right? What's your first recollection after you woke up?
asking people why I don't have feet.
Right. And how did you, I mean, if you can tell us anything about that, I mean, how'd you respond? How were you adjusting?
I woke up angry. I think you've probably seen, movies, shows where people wake up and they're like, why am I in the hospital and stuff? So yeah, there's a ton of that, but they have a button to put me back to sleep, and they'd hit that, but they'd gradually just try to explain the situation to me, have family members come in there and talk to me, nurses, doctors, anybody who can get the point across that, your feet aren't going to grow back.
Sure. How long did it take you to adjust to this new life of yours? I know you're still probably doing it, if I had to say so, Bram, but how does one manage something that you clearly went through?
Yeah, I mean, this will probably be, a whole lifelong battle, mentally for sure, physically. I'll get there, but there's always going to be another challenge depending on what I want to do. But I was in a wheelchair for a number of months, and then prosthetics, and then prosthetics with forearm crutches, and then now I'm able to walk around without any assistance.
I saw you lift a trophy earlier. You're pretty good at these things. How would you describe them to somebody who's not aware?
It's like just walking on stilts. Everybody you have your feet, you have foot muscles in there, ankle, calf. I don't have that anymore, so I'm living life on stilts at this point.
Fair enough. Are you limited, and are you able to run any of that stuff anymore as you keep it simple?
I can jog and trot. I haven't really tried to go full speed running and stuff like that. It can be done, obviously. You've seen it on Paralympic Games and stuff, but I just haven't gotten to that point. I mean, I still feel like I'm fairly early in all this, being about 2.5 years in.
But you look great for what it's worth. A lot of people reached out to you, from what I'm understanding. Anybody significant you can share with us? Guys that might.
I mean, absolutely every coach that I've ever played for reached out, send their condolences. I think TCU sent flowers. People were very active, trying to communicate with my mom, my brothers, just being really, involved in the whole process, because they knew it was tough on me, and it was especially tough on my family because they could just watch from afar.
Sure.
So everybody helped. There were just so many important people out there that there are to name. I mean, TCU guys Elliot Hill at Nike, Gary Patterson, Del Conte, the owner of the Rangers, owner of the Rockets. There's so many people reached out, just sending their love and kind regards.
Are you considered a positive person by nature? Has this changed your perspective on life? How do you see yourself in the world today?
No, it's definitely, enlightened my view on every situation out there. You could be negative about certain things, but you can always find a positive in everything. It's made me just, 100 times more spiritual. Thank God I'm still here, more grounded, more accepting of outside things that you weren't used to in the past. So this is something that I'm going to battle with for the rest of my life, mentally, physically, and but thank the Lord I'm still alive, and if the Lord was to choose somebody, I think He chose the right person with the ability to respond the way I have. It's
wonderful to hear that. And you're still involved with the program. You still watch the games.
Yeah, I've been up here a couple times for the home games. Actually, I think there's only one home game this year I missed, but it's always great to be back in Fort Worth.
Well, you're beloved around here. We know that. I know Houston loves you the same, probably more than that, probably the whole world if I had to guess. But we appreciate you sharing, man. Do you have any thoughts on the TCU versus USC Alamo Bowl? Will you be attending?
Yeah, I plan to be there on December 30th. The thoughts on the game is that we just need to keep the momentum we had rolling against Cincinnati. Don't turn over the ball, and just play sound defense. We start fast. I would say start fast to this team, because you don't want to get into a hole of 31-0. And then the year after that, I think they were down 17 points at halftime. So we won both of those, and let's just start fast and score points early.
Well, you're an amazing dude. Do you recognize that your life is something bigger than maybe you ever imagined it would be? Do you recognize what you've become for a lot of people, an inspiration?
I mean, yeah. I'm starting to grasp it. It's one of those things that I've been told, I'm too close to the story. But, I understand and see why this is so remarkable. And, I'm just proud that with everything that every coach has instilled in me, that, you just got to keep battling.
Well, Bram Kohlhausen, we're grateful to have you on the show. The Frog family loves you, and we're glad to have you in our lives. So thank you for joining us today on the show, and we hope to stay in touch with you.
Absolutely appreciate it.
That's Bram Kohlhausen, TCU legend, quarterback from the 2016 Alamo Bowl.
What a remarkable story. A true inspiration for sure. Bram mentioned the Remember the Alamo documentary that was produced by Clint Foster, which can be found on Foster's YouTube channel. It's a story of underdogs, horned frogs, and the indomitable Texas spirit, a spirit of facing impossible odds, perseverance, and ultimate triumph. Before we go, here's some sound bites from today's press conference with tight ends coach Mitch Kirsch, who will be calling the plays on the offensive side of the ball after the recently departed offensive coordinator, Kendall Briles, has accepted a position at South Carolina.
It's been really, really cool. Coach Dykes gave me this opportunity, and I've been with him for 8 years now. But most importantly, we've got a great staff that's put together a really, really good game plan for these guys just to go execute at a high level. And that was kind of what we were looking at going into this. How can we get our guys to play fast, play efficiently, and execute at a high level? And we feel like we put together a game plan, in that regard. So we're ready to go out, play fast, play physical, and go get this win. Ken and Josh they have a lot of similarities in arm talent and ways they've thrown the ball. Ken's a little bit more of a runner at times. But at the end of the day, like we said earlier, we just wanted to find a game plan that would get these guys to be able to play fast and not think. We want to execute at a high level. So that's what we've done with the game plan. Everything that Josh could do, Ken could do. Let's not forget, Ken started 20-plus games in the SEC, right? So we felt as a staff for the longest time, we've had the best backup quarterback in the country. And now he's got a chance to, kind of ride off into the sunset for TCU, a team that he grew up watching, and, lay it out all on the line for these guys. And, I'll never forget this. The day after Josh left, Eric McAllister got up in front of the whole team and said, Ken's our guy, we got his back. And I thought that was really powerful and speaks to the culture of this team as well. So that was something that was really awesome to see.
We'll have more from that presser from Kirsch, as well as Ken Seals, Eric McAllister, and Chase Curtis on tomorrow's show. Also, you heard the name Aaron Green in today's episode and his efforts in the 2016 Alamo Bowl comeback. We sat down with him as well. On Tuesday's show, we have Athletic Director Mike Buddy and a special treat for you guys. Ken Seals and his father joined the show to talk about this amazing journey for, as you heard it in the pep rally tonight, the Ken Seals. I'm Savannah Arevalo with the TCU Showgirls. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night from San Antonio. Go Frogs.
Red, 5, 2,